Love, when it is real, never attacks your value. It does not chip away at your confidence or leave you questioning your worth at the end of the day. True love recognizes the sacredness of a person and treats that life with care. It understands that everyone carries hidden battles, silent fears, and moments of weakness, and it responds to those moments with compassion instead of criticism. When love is genuine, it becomes a place of safety, not a source of insecurity. Many people confuse intensity with love, thinking that loud emotions, strong opinions, or constant control mean someone cares deeply. But love is not proven by how much someone can dominate your emotions. Love is revealed in how someone handles you when you are tired, broken, or uncertain. If a person truly loves you, they will not belittle you when you make a mistake, nor will they remind you of your failures every time an argument arises. Love corrects without crushing and speaks truth without tearing down dignity. There is a quiet power in love that refuses to humiliate. It does not mock your dreams or make jokes at the expense of your pain. Instead, it honors your journey, even when that journey includes setbacks. When someone loves you, they do not enjoy watching you doubt yourself. They don't feel stronger by making you feel weaker. Love does not feed on insecurity. It works to heal it. A loving presence has the ability to steady a shaking heart. When life has already been heavy, love does not add more weight. It does not pile guilt onto grief or shame onto struggle. Instead, it reminds you of who you are when you forget. It calls out the strength in you when you only see the scars. Love becomes a mirror that reflects hope rather than fear. Too often, people stay in harmful situations because they believe love must hurt to be real. But pain is not proof of passion, and tears are not evidence of commitment. Love does not require you to endure constant emotional bruising to earn affection. You do not have to be broken down to be loved deeply. The right kind of love lifts you, even when it challenges you. When love is authentic, it nurtures growth. It allows you to evolve without feeling threatened. It encourages confidence rather than competition. It does not compare you to others or make you feel replaceable. Love reassures you that your presence matters and that your voice deserves to be heard. If you walk away from someone feeling less than you were before, that is not love refining you. It is something eroding you. Real love leaves you stronger, more grounded, and more aware of your worth. It doesn't make you smaller to make itself feel bigger. It stands beside you, reminding you that you were valuable long before anyone chose to love you. Trust is one of the most fragile gifts a person can offer. When someone opens their heart and shares their fears, failures, and past wounds, they are placing something sacred into another person's hands. Real love understands the weight of that responsibility. It treats vulnerability with gentleness, not as ammunition to be used when emotions rise or conflicts appear. Love knows that what is revealed in safety should never be repeated in anger. Many people mistake emotional access for emotional entitlement. Just because someone knows your story does not give them the right to rewrite it in a way that harms you. Love does not keep mental records of your weakest moments to replay them. When it wants control, it does not remind you of who you used to be in order to invalidate who you are becoming. Genuine love refuses to strike at the softest parts of the heart, even when disagreements happen. When love is real, it creates an atmosphere where honesty feels safe. You can speak without fear of being exposed, embarrassed, or punished later. There is a mutual understanding that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge that deepens connection. Love protects that bridge. It does not burn it down just to win an argument or prove a point. Using someone's vulnerability as a weapon often reveals insecurity, not strength. It is a way of regaining power by inflicting emotional pain. Love does not need to overpower to feel secure. It does not manipulate emotions to maintain control. Instead, it seeks understanding even in moments of frustration. It chooses restraint over retaliation and empathy over ego. A loving heart knows when to pause. It knows that words once spoken cannot be taken back. That awareness creates discipline in speech and action. Love may confront, but it does not expose. It may address issues, but it does not humiliate. It understands that trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild, and it values the relationship more than momentary satisfaction. Many people carry deep scars because they trusted the wrong hands with the right information. They opened up, hoping for connection, only to be met with betrayal. But that experience does not mean vulnerability was a mistake. It means love was absent. Real love honors the courage it takes to be open. It sees vulnerability as a sign of strength, not a target. In healthy love, there is accountability without cruelty. There is honesty without harm. There is space to grow without fear of emotional punishment. Love becomes a shelter where wounds are tended, not reopened. It recognizes that healing requires safety, and safety is built on trust that is never exploited. Love was never meant to erase who you are. It was never designed to strip away your voice, your dreams, or your sense of self in exchange for acceptance. When love is genuine, it recognizes individuality as something to be honored, not threatened. It understands that two whole people can walk together without one disappearing so the other can feel secure. Many people slowly lose themselves in relationships without even realizing it. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small compromises, silencing an opinion to avoid conflict, postponing a dream to keep the peace, shrinking passions because they make someone else uncomfortable. Over time, what started as love begins to feel like confinement. Real love does not demand that kind of sacrifice. It does not require you to abandon who you were before the relationship began. True love encourages growth. Even when that growth creates change, it does not feel threatened when you evolve or discover new strength within yourself. Instead, it celebrates progress and adapts alongside it. Love that fears your growth is not protecting the relationship, it is protecting control. When someone insists that you stay the same to remain loved, they are loving a version of you that serves them, not the fullness of who you are. Losing yourself often comes from the belief that love must be earned by pleasing someone else. But love that requires constant self-denial is not love, it is exhaustion. You should not have to perform, pretend, or suppress your truth to keep someone close. Love welcomes authenticity. It invites honesty even when it reveals differences. It creates space for individuality to exist without punishment. Healthy love allows both people to bring their full selves into the relationship. It respects boundaries and understands that personal identity does not vanish in partnership. You are allowed to have your own thoughts, your own callings, and your own purpose. Love does not compete with purpose. It supports it. It does not ask you to choose between who you are and who you love. When love is real, it strengthens your sense of self rather than weakening it. It gives you the confidence to stand firm, knowing you are accepted without conditions. You don't feel the need to shrink, explain yourself endlessly, or apologize for existing. Love becomes a place where you can breathe, not a space where you are constantly bracing for disapproval. If a relationship requires you to abandon your values, silence your truth, or ignore your inner voice, that relationship is costing you too much. Love should add to your life, not subtract from your identity. It should help you become more of who you were created to be, not someone you barely recognize. Love was never meant to be a puzzle you are forced to solve every day. It was not designed to keep you guessing, anxious, or uncertain about where you stand. When love is real, it brings a sense of clarity that calms the heart rather than disturbs it. You may not have all the answers about the future, but you should never be confused about whether you are valued, respected, and wanted. Confusion often enters when words and actions do not align. Someone may say they care, yet disappear when consistency is required. They may speak affection, but avoid responsibility. This gap between promise and behavior creates emotional instability, and that instability is not love. Love understands that trust is built through reliability. It shows up, follows through, and remains present even when it would be easier to withdraw. True love does not play games with emotions. It does not send mixed signals to maintain control or attention. Love is not hot one moment and cold the next. That kind of inconsistency creates anxiety, not intimacy. Love recognizes that emotional safety is essential, and it works intentionally to provide it. When someone loves you, you are not left wondering whether today you matter and tomorrow you will be ignored. Clarity in love does not mean perfection. Disagreements still happen and misunderstandings still arise. But even in conflict, love communicates. It does not disappear, shut down, or punish through silence. Love remains accessible. It chooses conversation over avoidance and resolution over withdrawal. It understands that distance without explanation damages trust. Many people stay in unhealthy situations because they believe uncertainty is normal in love. They assume confusion means depth or mystery, but love does not thrive in emotional fog. It thrives in honesty. Love is willing to define itself, to be accountable, and to stand firm in its intentions. It does not leave someone emotionally stranded while deciding whether to stay or go. When love is genuine, effort is visible. It is not something you have to constantly chase or prove yourself worthy of. Love meets you halfway. It invests time, attention, and energy without making you feel like a burden for needing reassurance. Consistency becomes a language that speaks louder than words. If you find yourself constantly questioning your importance, replaying conversations, or feeling anxious about expressing your needs, that confusion is signaling something is wrong. Love does not leave you emotionally exhausted from trying to interpret signals. It brings peace, not pressure. It steadies the heart by being clear, present, and dependable. Respect is not a luxury in love, it is a foundation. When love is real, respect is given freely, not negotiated through exhaustion or earned through suffering. You should never have to beg to be treated with dignity. Love does not make you plead for kindness, honesty, or basic human decency. If you are constantly asking for what should be natural, something in that connection is deeply broken. Begging for respect often begins quietly. It starts with overlooked feelings, dismissed concerns, and boundaries that are repeatedly crossed. At first, you may explain yourself, thinking the other person simply doesn't understand. But over time, explanation turns into repetition, and repetition turns into emotional fatigue. Love does not require you to fight to be heard. It listens the first time because it values your voice. When someone truly loves you, they do not make you feel like your needs are an inconvenience. They don't mock your emotions or label your concerns as overreactions. Respect means taking someone seriously even when you don't fully agree. Love does not invalidate feelings to avoid accountability. It acknowledges them and responds with care. Manipulation often disguises itself as love when respect is missing. A person may withhold affection, attention, or approval until you comply with their expectations. This creates a dynamic where love feels conditional and respect becomes a reward instead of a standard. Healthy love does not operate on control. It does not use silence, withdrawal, or guilt as tools to gain power. You should never have to lower your standards to keep someone in your life. Respect is not something you ask for repeatedly. It is something that should already be present. Love that is real understands boundaries and honors them. It does not push past limits and then blame you for being hurt. Respect sees boundaries not as obstacles, but as expressions of self-worth. When respect exists, communication changes. There is room for disagreement without disrespect. There is correction without humiliation. There is honesty without cruelty. Love does not tear down to make a point. It understands that how something is said matters just as much as what is said. If a relationship leaves you feeling small for asking for basic consideration, that is not love challenging you. It is love missing entirely. True love does not force you to beg for what should be freely given. It offers respect willingly, consistently, and without condition.